Now this is my brand new Apex XTX-200. I'm not paid to endorse it, I like their product. I've been diving Apex gears since probably early 2000s when they really first started coming out on the market. Now a couple of big things about the XTX-200 is one, the exhaust port is actually adjustable. So if you don't like the big wide exhaust ports, you can switch over to the small ones. The other reason I went with this is how compact it is. You see how compact it is? It has two high pressure ports. It's got, I did go with the DIN, and the reason why I went with DIN, it's easier to change a DIN to a yoke than a yoke to a DIN. I prefer DIN setups. They're a lot easier, more user friendly. Now this is a overbalanced regulator. It's also geared for cold water. Well, everybody's asking me, why did I go with this when I live in Saipan? And I said simple. Even though it's geared for cold water, I'm not diving cold water, it should have no problem at all. One of my first high-end regulators I bought years ago was at the old Aqua Arctic. Unfortunately, with my Aqua Arctic, I left it at my parents' house, my brothers use it, and nobody could find it since. So good thing about siblings, right? Adjuster valve, pressure valve. I do like the Aqua overbite, you know, right here on the roof. It basically holds everything in place in your mouth. That way you're not biting down too hard. We're just going to go ahead and assemble it. Now, as you know, if you've seen my BCD, I use a WTX tech rig with a air source on it. So I streamline all my hoses. That's why when people see me diving and I pull out my rig, they only see two hoses. They flip out. They're like, "What the heck? You know, where's everything else?" Voila. That's it. Now I think I want to go ahead and try the smaller ports. Who knows? I may switch back. So the deal is, you push down here and you just separate them. Okay. There it is, I see it. It's a little track. You got to get it just right. That's nice. There you go. That is my new XT-200 setup. Now here is something I actually do, is one, I take the black hose off of my secondary, right? And the reason why I do that is because of this, the low pressure inflator hose goes into my BCD and my air source. So if I ever have to ditch off my my second stage, I pass this off, I pass off my second stage. The reason why, so that's why I mark mine as yellow. Also, if you didn't know this, the octopus hose is longer than a regular, the second stage hose. It's almost by a foot. When I ditch this off, hand this off to you if you need it, this is what you see. You get the yellow hose. Then I switch up to one that's on my BCD. So that's why I switch it off to like this. I want to get a yellow braided hose like this, but Give it time. So this is it. There you go. Voila. Here's my yoke to din adapter. I basically have to carry this with me at all times from now on when I'm diving, just because we don't know if we're going to get a din or yoke or the pro valves. If you own a dive shop, what I did at my prior dive shops is I switched all my tanks over to pro valves. Never regretted it. I actually think the pro valve fits better on the yoke than the regular yoke adapter. It's the way the O-ring sits. Besides, now you could use, all your din divers could actually just take out the inner piece and switch over to din. So if you own a dive shop, go to the pro valve. My personal favorite is a din. It reduces the size of overall weight and everything on the regulator setup. Altogether, I just like din better, but that's my personal preference.
Here we are, it's my 160th dive for the year. This is my 4th dive on the XTX-200. I want to put it on 1/8 of a second. That way you can kind of see air consumption over here. Okay, I started off with roughly right over 3100 PSI, fighting the current, getting in and out of Lau Lau. Now this is up in the north side of Lau Lau Beach, so there's a lot of swim-throughs, a lot of caverns. I want to show you on some of my graphs here. This is a pressure reading. That's just giving you the overall pressure with the elapsed dive time. Now this is going to be airtime remaining. That's just telling me the estimated airtime to remain before I have to come back up. So the deepest I went on this dive was 64 feet, 85 degrees at the bottom, 102 degrees on the surface, or that's what my computer is reading. And I'll show you that in just a second as well. There's a little bit of the temperature change, showing you how it jumps. It goes from 102 and then drop down to 80 degrees. This is actually the computer software that's on my 770R computer. This was actually the second dive of the day, just to let you know. So you see right in that area, that's areas where we're going through some swim-throughs and caverns. Plateaus, like right in here where my arrow is, that was a swim-through, and it's actually a pretty long swim-through. All these over here were swim-throughs, this was swim-throughs. Okay. Now if I wanted to, I could actually mark them just like with that flag on my computer at the time, and it will actually pinpoint certain keynotes. So there we are, we're just working our way back up slowly, heading back in. I know exactly where we're at this time. We're right on the pipe. This will actually be on one of the videos that I'm about to release. And this is just when we're coming back in.